My daughter slipped and fell in front of her sorority's house. The sidewalk and steps were covered with ice. She was injured and is going to need physical therapy. Who is responsible, the sorority or the college? And that question comes from Marvin. What would you tell Marvin tonight?
All right, so here's what I'd tell Marvin if he was in my office. I'd say it's going to depend, but you probably can go after the sorority. There have been claims for slip and falls, drownings, fire cases against fraternities and sororities. Even though they're technically on state-owned land, you can still go after them because they're generally private corporations with some sort of exception to operate on state land. So that's what I would suggest. The other thing is, Marvin, you mentioned that your daughter had a slip and fall in ice, and that is a case in Mississippi we don't see a lot, and so sometimes they use an act of God exclusion or an act of God defense, but I'd like to try and help you, so if I get some more information, just call me, I can do it.
I was going to ask that very question, it being an act of God and how that plays into it. Lots of details, I feel like, here, and ownership. Who owned the sidewalk? Who owned the steps? And where exactly did it happen? So lots to answer.
Who's in control is probably the #1 question. You've nailed it on the head. That's what it's going to depend on.